programming language so that you can finish up easily. Right? So that we saw. Increased ability to learn new languages. You know one language, obviously more or less equal to the features you know from known language. You can also learn new language. You may not be learning, you may not be aware of all the features of new programming language, but you're already aware of one or two programming languages, so more or less equal to the features you know from the known programming languages will be there in a new programming languages. So therefore, it will become easy for you to learn because updation is also important. Today one language has come, tomorrow you may get one more language which may become popular. We have to upgrade ourselves. Therefore, in that sense, it would become easy for you, right? So three reasons. And next reason is better understanding of implementation issues. If any issues come when you are developing application, if any issue has come, if you know thoroughly the features, in-depth features of a programming language which you are using for developing application, if any bug, if any uh, hidden bug comes, then you will be the person to identify that such bugs. You know programming language 50%, you started doing programming, you started doing application, then because you are not aware of all the features of the programming language, then if any problem comes in the process of developing application, then you will be in tense. You may not be able to identify because you do not know, you did not learn all the features of using programming language. So better understanding of implementation issues, how language constructs are implemented. We saw it, right? So it is, the simple one is you do not know some feature like recursion. Then you start, if you don't know recursion, you don't know that recursion is allowed by programming language, then you will be using loops all the time. If you don't know loops, if you don't know that the programming language is supporting loops, then you will go for other alternate method. But the easiest method is adopting loops like that. And array exceeding bounds, memory allocations, such kind of hidden, intelligent, uh, clever bugs can be identified easily. The next is improved use of languages. One already, one already knows. Right? Advancement of computing in general. Right. So these are some the reasons why we have to study about concepts of programming languages. Now we discussed in the last class briefly programming domains. So based on the area, you cannot take all the problems into one roof. They may be segregated. Based on that, uh, suitable programming language can be used for developing applications in those areas. Those are called domains. Medical, there may be problems need to be solved which are related to the medical field. There may be problems related to the scientific research, the calculations. There may be the problems associated with the business, so therefore separate application. There may be the problems solved intelligently. without human being intervention. Artificial intelligence, the pro, there may be requirement of developing system programs, right? You may sometimes uh, based on the requirement, you may keep your you may collect data from different locations. So web softwares, applications, websites. So problems cannot be uh, one type. There may be several types of problems. For every type of
Once
problem,
again,
uh,
don't take any
there
chance.
is a suitable programming
Please
language
respond fast. Have you
based
completed the
on
preparation
type
of
of the
OS in
problem.
all aspects?
Uh, those
OS
problems are
theory,
divided
OS
into
lab.
domains. For one particular domain, you use more appropriate programming language. It is not that you cannot use other language, but it becomes more difficult. Writing a business application in C program is a is not appropriate choice. Writing a website in C program is not appropriate choice, right? Writing scientific applications in C might be appropriate, but more appropriate programming language which was already been designed is Fortran, like that. Then scientific. What are the domains now? Scientific applications, business, artificial intelligence, system programming, web softwares. Scientific applications, suitable programming languages Fortran. Business applications, more suitable programming languages COBOL. Right? Artificial intelligence, more suitable programming language. It is not that we cannot use Java, we cannot use a C program. We can use, we can use, but more suitable languages are Prolog, Lisp. Nowadays, we are coming across R programming, right? Python, like the systems programming. So more suitable programming language, you know that for this domain is C, low level operations. Need for efficiency and for ability to low level operations like writing device drivers. You cannot use HTML for writing system programming. You cannot use COBOL for writing system programming, right? Therefore, based on the domain, if you know about C, Fortran, Lisp, Prolog, COBOL, Java, HTTP, the PHP, HTML, JavaScript, you know these many programming languages. But your requirement to solve is system programming. Which programming language you are able to choose? Obviously, C, right? Because you know features of all these programming languages. Obviously, you will be choosing uh, the programming language C for developing it. Web softwares, web applications typically want good string processing capabilities. So therefore, scripting languages such as PHP, JavaScript, along with HTML, XML have to be used. Now we also have to see language eval. So these are domains. Right? So we have the come across the reason for studying the concepts of programming language, very basic one, right? And domains, different domains. These are very general concepts only. Language evaluation criteria. So how do we evaluate a language? Evaluating language is nothing but whether language is easy to understand. Easy to understand just by reading. Is that reliable? Developing applications, writing software in those languages is more costly. Whether it is readable, writable, reliable, and cost effective. If you choose C program for developing business applications, you might be developing, but you may have to work hard and hard. You have to write everything, but already everything is being written inbuilt in COBOL, right? Because many string processings are required. Right. So like that, it's not that you cannot use Java. It is not. You cannot use other programming languages. You can use now. So post evaluation criteria is aside from simply examining the concepts that underlie the various constructs, features of programming languages, to evaluate those features with respect to how they impact software development process. Few evaluation criteria are readability, writability, reliability, and cost. Right? So we'll just see this about this. So there is a readability. This refers to the ease with which programs can be understood. You should be able to read when, because why these features are required, or you are working on a product, you are developing a product, a software, you left the job for some reasons, right? So who comes next to do your job should be able to understand. You cannot again start from the beginning. You already did some extent. From there, the one who comes into your responsibility, in your responsible position, should start from the place where you left. Right? If these features are not there, if it is not readable, it is not writable, then again he has to start from the scratch, from the beginning. So this refers to ease with which programs can be understood easily. So some are, one can write hard to understand programs in any language. Of course, by using non-descriptive variables, subprogram names, by failing to format code according to accepted conventions, by omitting comments. So we generally used to write programs of 50 lines, 100 lines, maybe 200 lines. Right? Because we wrote it, we only run it, we only use it, we can understand because it is our program. But if at all you are working in a group, sometimes your program may need to be understood by others. So therefore, commenting, if you write brief comment, too much of too much of commenting is also not acceptable, right? So the comment, writing comments for the lines, so that the comments are easily understandable. Just by reading that the comment, if comment itself is more difficult to understand, then you can guess how difficult it is to understand the programming language statement, right? So one, to improve readability and understandability, the comments are required. So how to understand programs in any language, of course, by using non-descriptive variable program names. So sometimes we use programming the variables. Instead of using some, you may use S. Right? Total, you may use T. Function names, you may use ABC. So if function ABC you are trying to use to add two numbers, then you might have used add two. numbers kind of function name so that it is readable, right? So though the job done by ABC function which you wrote is also the same job done by add two nums
your hall ticket number,
function name. Which is more
subclasses,
readable?
and sums
The,
is equal
the
to
later
score.
one is more readable. Right. So, so what are the features? What are the features improve readability or simplicity? The first one is simplicity. Number of basic constructs features. If there are too many, the more likely a program will be hard to read. If you incorporate into your program too many features of programming language, then the program becomes more hard to understand. So program has to be as far as possible simple. Unnecessarily don't use difficult constructs, different features into your program because reader might know a different subset of language than the programmer. If there are very few assembly languages, code can be hard to read because what may be a single operation conceptually could require several instructions to encode. Right? If our choice for writing program is assembly language, so just to add two numbers, we might be writing in C to add two numbers, C equal to A plus B, but it's not similar kind of statement which we can use in assembly language. We may have to write 4 5 lines of code. So the simplicity, the concepts, the feature that you adopt should be easy to understand, which improves the readability of the program. And the feature multiplicity, the existence of multiple ways of doing the same operation. You can explore for all possibilities to do a operation out of which is a simple that one. If you adopt, it would be better. Incrementing a variable in C-based syntax, looping constructs, while do while for Java's conditional temporary, the ternary operator. Incrementing a variable in C-based syntax, looping constructs like a while or do while for Java's conditional ternary operator. So there are many ways whether you have to use do while or for, which is which is more suitable. Explore all possible features, and out of which is more suitable. If you use that feature, whether it becomes simple. If it becomes simple, then adopt it. Then operator overloading. If operator overloading is there, is a feature there, then you can use operator overloading concept. If you want to concatenate two strings, one option, if this feature is there, you can add it, you can concatenate two strings as you do when you want to add two numbers. It is improving readability. S1 plus S2. Two strings can be concatenated, where S1 and S2 are two strings. Right? Can aid readability if you use with discretion, but can lessen readability if you use unwisely by using plus as a comparison operator. Right? Done. So this is next. These features, the simple features, will improve readability. And next feature is for improving readability, orthogonality. To improve readability feature, first one is simplicity, and next one is orthogonality. Orthogonal. So that involving right angle. Orthogonal means involving a right angle, but term has been extended to general use. In this programming language, this is been adopted to give different meaning. Meaning here is the property of being independent relatively to something else. In the context of a programming language, a set of features or constructs is said to be orthogonal if those features can be used freely in combination with each other. Right? What is orthogonal is, if there are some features in a programming language, if those features, if one feature you use with another, then it is a improved orthogonal. Two features are there, that means functions, arrays, say loops, recursions. If we use one with the other, one with other, we want to use. If we want to call a function from a loop, if we want to call, a recursion. If that is not there, then it is very hard to write programs. So it cannot be independent. Every feature, if 10 features are there, 10 features are independent, then it is not good. Orthogonality must be there. There should be a mechanism to be adopted into the programming language and its features so that those features can be combined with other, particularly combinations are uh, the forbidden as exceptional cases, or the meaning of particular combination is not evident from meaning of its component parts, each one considered without regard to context. What is non-orthogonality is a function can return a value of any type except for an array type and function type. Right? The function can return character, integer, string, right? Pointer. Right? So it is the, but it is function only. It is return only. Return. If you use it properly, you can use this feature, return feature, for returning integers, floats, strings, pointers. Those. According to the author, an array can hold values of any type except for a function type or void. Arrays, the feature here is array. We can use arrays for storing real numbers, integers, strings, pointers, right? So we can use the feature array to use integers and different types of things, right? So then, if you want to use arrays only for operating on integers, these are more restricted. then you cannot say that we have to use separate arrays for integers, separate arrays for float, separate arrays for string handling, like that. So similar arrays concept is used with other concepts. When those two concepts are used combinedly, then we are able to get the work easily. So orthogonality has to be improved. The features that are those are associated with uh, programming language, right? Now, now, so example from assembly language, the assembly language uh, in wax assembler, the instruction for 32-bit integers addition is of the form this, right? So where each OP1, OP2 are there, can refer to either registers or memory locations. This is nicely orthogonal. Right? So in contrast, in the assembly language for IBM mainframes, there are two separate analogous add instructions. For adding, there are uh, two separate add instructions, one of which requires OP1 to refer a register and OP2 to refer a memory location. So based on whether OP1, OP2 are register or memory location, right, based on that, add instruction has to be used as per IBM mainframe. It is less orthogonal, right? This is lagging in orthogonal. Right now, see, if you want to add two real numbers, two integers, two strings, right? Plus operator you can use a plus b. A and b can be integers, can be floats, can be strings, can be whatsoever it is. It is more orthogonal. If you use if two operands are of string type, plus is going to be for concatenation operator, right? Operator overloaded. It is more orthogonal. So too much orthogonality, as with almost everything, one can go too far. Was Algol 68 was designed to be very orthogonal and turned out to be too much so. Right? So there are the programming nowadays. We are the coming out with the many programming languages where you can use freely the operators, arrays. You can store in arrays. Array index can be integers. Array index can be strings. You can store into arrays mixed integers, float, whatsoever it is, right? So those kind of features we are nowadays we are able to see. So what are the things we saw? Readability, how readability can be improved with this, and similarly, the other feature is writability, and then reliability, and then cost effective. Okay. The next one is what are the different data types? What are the different data types? This comes into the evaluation criteria, right? Readability. Now, adequate facilities for defining data types. So we require integers, float, characters, boolean, string types. The string type is there, the string feature is there, then it is easy to add two strings. It is as equal as adding two numbers. Defining data types and structures aids readability. Data types may be basic data types, may be user defined data types. You can define data type for two strings, so it is easy. Early Fortran had no record construct, so that the fields of an object could not be encapsulated within a single structure. So when structure has come with the object, object stores different features, different types of features. If you're an object, you might be having different the features right now. So that concept improves readability. So the primitive intrinsic data types should be adequate. Example, early versions of C had no Boolean type, forcing programmers to use as an int to represent true or false. When Boolean is not there in C, but our requirement is to use whether it is true or false. Zero, our requirement is only true or zero or one, true or false. Yes. We used to use obviously int right now. So Boolean is of, because it is one bit is enough to go for a true or false. So, so if everything is everything else is true, then the flag is one would be used to set a flag to true. How about this? The statement is like this. If k equal to 5, then if it, based on our requirement, you can set false flag equal to true, flag equal to false. It is readable. If flag equal to 0, then you might be understanding it in different way. If you if we have a boolean true or false, then we understand it more easily, right? So syntax design, it should be, which includes identifier forms, special words, form and meaning. So identifier should not be too restrictive on length, such as were Fortran 77 basic. In global, identifiers could include dashes, which can be confused with abstraction operator, subtraction operator. Right? Special words such as while, if, and clause have special meaning within a program. Where I think we are running out of the time. So the manner in which beginning end of a compound statement, example, loop is signaled, can aid or halt readability. Curly braces versus loop and. So how syntax is being designed, how syntax is being designed is also making the programmer to get confused. Syntax design should be more simple to understand, more simple to use, form and meaning. Ideally, the semantics of the syntactic construct should be evident from its form. A good choice of special words helps this. If you use if, not G, L, or OP, right? If you use if, then this operator, it helps if a syntactic form means the same thing in all the context. Right? So writability. What are all the features that improves writability? There should not be any confusion. There should not be any deviations in writing the program. If we write in one way, the one who is reading the program should be understanding in the same way. There should not be any writing complexity. Right. This is a meaning measure how easily language can be used to develop programs for a chosen problem domain. Simplicity, orthogonality, expressivity,